Bobby,
that shit ain't gonna,
have your people call my people, man. I don't want to see it come to an end. I don't want to see it come to an end. Come on, let's get this thing together.
The JBN. Bring your white skin to the JBN.
Bobbi Althoff announced today that she is ending her podcast. Truly a wild run for her. From kind of coming out of nowhere, industry plant allegations, to interviewing Drake in a bed. Now the podcast being over, I don't know what she's going to do next. She announced this today, and this is the last episode. It was kind of a funeral. The comments were brutal. This is what happens when you leave your family to chase clout. Remember, this girl left her husband and family to pursue this as a full-time career. Left her family for this, by the way. All around, just not great. Obviously, this goes to the idea that she was a mother, or is a mother, was married. She got divorced from her husband. I don't know how often she sees her kid. The views on her podcast weren't that awful. She said she didn't expect herself to fall off as such. She did. The views really weren't that bad. This is a true be careful what you wish for. If I ever taught a class to people who wanted to do TikTok, all that stuff, YouTube, podcast, I would use her as an example, man. It goes quick, man. Again, I don't even think she really fell off that much. Her podcast still getting 100, 200, 300K views. That's a lot. But yeah, I would use her. It's just you think it's going to last forever. It doesn't. In regards to the family situation, I don't know. That's tough. That's really tough. Who knows? Maybe something went on. But if all things were good and you had a loving husband and you had children, you probably missed them. I mean, if we're betting, probably. But who knows? Maybe Bobby's different.
It's like you started up a podcast, but you leave your family and your husband to pursue your dreams. And I get that. I understand that. And, you're trying to limit it, you're trying to push away your distractions. Mm-hmm. But now you want to give that up. What you about to do after?
Well, I think the situation was, she didn't specify the details, but it was more so gave the vibe that first of all, she did a podcast that always had celebrities on it. Mm-hmm. So there's there's the angle or the possibility that could have ran out. She could have ran out. She was going downhill, so maybe celebrities didn't want to keep going on her podcast. That's possible. Also, it was discussed it might have been a contractual thing. She might have been contracted with a podcast network or had podcast backing or whatever, and she got fired. Similar Shannon Sharp or whatever. Because a lot of people do that with iHeartRadio or whatever, Spotify or whatever. There's different deals that you can do with, for podcasting and whatnot. Or she could see that her numbers aren't nearly what they were when she first started off. So it's different reasons as to why she could be ending the podcast. Because when I saw there was a little snippet that she that she gave where she had a little funeral where she was saying that this is sad and she didn't want it to be ending this way, but it was ending this way or whatever. So it's it didn't seem like it was her choice. More so it was what's happening to her type shit.
When you explain it like that, it makes more sense. Right. A lot more sense.
And then what's funny is that Joe Budden had said on his podcast that he liked Bobbi. It's unfortunate, and he extended her to coming on to his podcast. He said to tell her people to call his people and whatnot, and we can fix it up or whatever. So it's so I asked on TikTok what they thought about that. Would Bobbi be? Are you familiar with the Joe Budden podcast? Do you watch it or whatever?
Hey, I watch
it clips or whatever.
Yeah, I see clips and stuff that. Shout out Joe Budden though.
Shout out Joe Budden.
I mess with him.
I can't see Bobbi being on Joe Budden's podcast. I can't see Bobbi and Joe Budden in the same having a conversation for real, because they're just totally different personalities.
Yeah.
But somebody said on the Joe Budden podcast they have
it might work. It might work.
I feel they could find a spot for her, maybe not on the main podcast, but even as some side venture, some side quest or whatever, and they could still work together and make her shit popping or whatever. Because he was saying that she could, she didn't her shit was guest based or whatever. We were talking about she had guests. You basically were tuning into her podcast because she had celebrities on it every time or whatever. But if she made her podcast more about trending topics or dating or gossip or whatever, she could still have a successful podcast. She just needs to rework it, reframe it, or whatever. So like maybe he could reframe it for her so that it can be a popping podcast and whatnot.
I never watched any of her podcasts before, but I heard of her like through little clips.
Right. The only podcast, exactly. The only podcast I've seen is the one where her and Drake in a bed.
Yeah.
I tapped into the Offset one, but that was like there's not really too many people that I would tap in for. She was featured on like Drewski's Could Have Been Love.
Yeah, like, that's where I
miniseries or whatever. So that was fire. But like she really needs to, if in my opinion, she needs to work with people in like her like tier. Like I feel like Drewski's a little bit above her, but like Shane Gillis or Theo Von or you know what I mean, like different people like that. People were comparing her to the Hawk Tuah girl, how her run kind of came and went or whatever.
That was the fastest fall off ever. Like she was hot for a minute,
right,
and then just died off.
Right, because there was really no point, honestly. But I think Bobbi, like if Bobbi even got into like I feel like she could get into acting and be lit or whatever. So it's like there's different options there. I'm sure she's gonna figure it out.
I never like really see her like her persona. Like I never got a chance to see her persona, like her. It's personality.
It's low key bland. It's low key like mayonnaise.
And that juice in them Drewski series, I seen that and I was like, is she really like that?
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, her and Joe Budden is not. Yeah, that's not gonna work.
But Joe Budden right now is looking to expand his joint. Like he talks about having different people on, and he talks about expanding the co-hosts and whatnot. It might not be with Bobbi, but he's definitely gonna expand his team and whatnot. So he's already like he was in what was it? The fucking New York Times saying that he makes 20 million, like his podcast makes 20 million a year type shit. So he's like he got like a little empire on like under his in the tuck and whatnot. So he's just looking to expand that shit. So maybe Bobbi will fit in there or somewhere else. Only time will tell.
Hey, if you guys like this video, make sure you check out these videos where we talk more about music, dating, and real life situations. Thank you for supporting the podcast. Make sure you check out these videos and make sure you subscribe. Peace.